Breaking news coming across the wire, December 26, 2025. Ukraine's National Guard is testing the BM-21 Grad on a manned chassis. And wait for it. With a fully digital fire control system, the video is out, the tech is frankly astonishing, and the strategic implications here are just massive. We're going to break all of it down. I'm Alex. Join me with Area, the latest deep dive by Defense Report, for a sharp, no-nonsense breakdown of the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments. And today we're covering one of the most, well, compelling paradoxes in modern warfare.
We really are. We're dissecting the strategic marriage of just overwhelming firepower. I mean, the iconic Soviet-era BM-21 Grad onto a cutting-edge European platform, the Rheinmetall MAN HX 6x6.
And this isn't just bolting an old launcher onto a new truck.
No, not at all. This features completely upgraded combat systems. It's a total overhaul.
Okay, and before we get into how a Cold War legend gets this, NATO standard upgrade, if you value timely, in-depth reports like this one, the kind that give you real strategic context, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Defense Reports.
Our mission for you today is to really get the why behind this. It's not just the technical details, it's the strategic thinking behind this modernization for Ukraine. We're looking at this critical synergy, blending the Grad's sheer saturation power with high mobility, crew protection, and digital accuracy.
So it's about making it more lethal and also more survivable.
Exactly. Maximizing lethality while maximizing the survivability of the soldiers who operate it. At the end of the day, that's the goal.
All right, let's start with the foundation, the Grad. I mean, it's almost 60 years old, but that name still carries a ton of weight. It's the BM-21, or if you want the formal Soviet designation, the GRAU index 9K51.
And it really entered service way back in 1963. It was the successor to the famous Katyusha.
The Stalin organ.
That's the one. And the Grad is just the definition of that Soviet doctrine. Deliver a massive volume of fire across a wide area and do it fast. The core of it is that 40-tube launcher, the 2B5 index, firing those 122-millimeter rockets. And the original truck it was on, that was the Ural 375.
That Ural was a whole different beast from a different era, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It had a V8 petrol engine, thirsty. It put out about 180 horsepower, maybe topped out at 75 kilometers an hour on a good road. Its whole job was general fire support, hitting personnel, light vehicles, fortifications, you name it.
And the firepower, even by today's standards, is just staggering.
It is. It can unleash all 40 of those rockets in a terrifying 20-second volley. We're talking about saturating an area of around 14.5 hectares. That's what keeps the Grad so relevant, that ability to put so much steel on a target instantly.
But, and this is the big but, that strength was always tied to a huge weakness, especially today.
That's right. The Grad was always about volume, not precision. Even with newer rockets that can reach out to, say, 42 kilometers, the basic problem was the platform. It was a soft-skinned truck.
So zero protection for the crew.
Zero integrated protection, which in the age of counter-battery radar is incredibly dangerous.
A death sentence, really.
It can be. The moment you fire, those radars trace the rockets right back to your location. You have seconds, literally seconds, to get out of there. Lingering to aim, or even worse, to reload. It just isn't an option anymore. The old platforms couldn't give you the speed or the safety for modern shoot-and-scoot tactics.
Okay, so this is where Ukraine's own journey comes in. Because they've been trying to solve this problem for years, right? This isn't their first attempt at upgrading the Grad.
Not at all. And that domestic work really set the stage for what we're seeing now. If you look back at the BM-21K modernization that was led by the Kharkiv plant and the Morzov Design Bureau, they got serious about it.
What were the big changes there?
Well, they pushed the range out to 40 kilometers, they brought in a faster reloading system, and critically, they integrated satellite targeting. That was a huge leap.
And that must have made a massive difference in accuracy.
A transformative difference. The reported maximum error dropped to just 90 meters at 40 kilometers. For what was historically just an area weapon, that's incredible. It starts to become a tool that can actually shape the battlefield with some efficiency.
And then came the Verba MLRS on the KRAZ chassis. That seems to be focused more on the crew, on the human element.
Precisely. The Verba was all about solving crew exposure and downtime. It had a double cabin for 5 people, so all the controls, navigation, stabilization, firing could be done from inside the armor. And the reload time. That was the other game changer. An old Grad can take, an hour or 2 to reload in the field?
Yeah, a long time to be sitting still.
A very long time. The Verba was designed to do it in just 10 minutes.
So when we see this new report, the National Guard putting the Grad on a German MAN HX 6x6, It's not a random choice. It feels like the final step in a long process.
It's the culmination of years of learning. The doctrine is clear now. You need mobility, you need accuracy, and you absolutely must protect the crew. This latest upgrade, it's about taking that proving Grad firepower and putting it onto a platform with totally new combat systems, one that meets the demands of modern maneuver warfare.
Let's get into that platform then, the Rheinmetall MN HX 6x6. Why this truck? What makes it the right choice for this job?
Well, the HX series is just fundamentally different. It's not a commercial truck that's been painted green. It's a pure military design built from the ground up for military users with a 20-plus year life cycle. It comes from RMMV, that's the joint venture between Rheinmetall and MEN. You get the defense engineering and the automotive expertise all in one.
And the fact that so many other countries use it, that has to be a massive strategic win for Ukraine, right?
Oh, enormous. There are over 10,000 of these trucks out there. The UK, Germany, Norway, Sweden, they all use them. So right away, Ukraine gets interoperability. We're talking about shared training, spare parts, and a massive support network across the West.
Okay, so let's translate the specs into what matters on the battlefield. Why is this MNHX so much better for a shoot-and-scoot mission?
Power and stability, it starts there. The 6x6 version has a MAN D20 engine pushing 440 horsepower and, a huge amount of torque. That's paired with a fully automatic gearbox. So you get instant acceleration and great stability, which you absolutely need to launch rockets accurately and then evade quickly.
And it can handle the terrain, I assume? The mud, the broken ground?
It's built for it. It's designed to work in any climate, from -32 Celsius up to nearly 50 degrees. And the frame itself has 400 millimeters of torsional twist. That's the difference between getting bogged down and just powering over an obstacle. It keeps the weapon platform stable no matter what. It can even ford through 1.5 meters of water without any prep.
So it gets there faster. But the real game changer for the crew has to be the cab itself. They're no longer totally exposed.
That is probably the single biggest improvement for the soldiers. The MNHX has an optional integrated armored cabin, the IAC. It's certified to STANAG 4569.
Which is the NATO standard for protection.
It is. It sets the standard for protection against bullets, mines, IEDs. Having that level of protection built in means the crew is just vastly safer, both on the move and during that critical launch sequence.
Even the small things, the little design details, seem focused on survivability.
But they are, like the cooling pack. It's tucked away behind the cabin, it's better protected from damage and debris, and it also cools more efficiently. Every single element is designed to keep that system running and its crew alive.
Which brings us to the heart of the story, the synergy. You take this tough, protected NATO truck, and you add the Grad launcher. But the aha moment from the news release, that has to be the new fire control system.
That is the entire transformation. The report mentioned remote-controlled electric drives for aiming it both vertically and horizontally. For anyone who's worked with an old Grad, that is a quantum leap.
Because traditionally you're outside, with hand cranks and sighting tubes, right?
Exactly. You're manually making adjustments, totally exposed. Shifting to remote electric drives changes everything. The crew can aim, stabilize, and fire from inside the armored cab. It means your reaction speed is faster, your accuracy is better, and you can get ready to move again almost instantly.
So why do this? Why go to all the trouble of marrying old and new? Why not just buy more HIMARS or other Western systems?
That's the key question, isn't it? And it comes down to a mix of doctrine and logistics. Yes, Ukraine needs precision, but it also needs massed area denial. It needs to be able to break up large enemy formations very quickly, and they already have huge stockpiles of Grad rockets.
So you take the cheap, available, high-volume weapon,
and you put it on a protected, mobile, logistically supported chassis. You've just created an incredibly cost-effective and survivable system that's perfectly tailored for how they need to fight. The tests confirmed it, they're more accurate, they're ready faster, and they can operate in places the old ones never could. It maximizes the value of what they have while protecting their most valuable asset.
the soldiers.
The Ukrainian soldier.
And this whole project really highlights the bigger logistical shift happening, doesn't it? Ukraine moving towards Western standards.
It really does. This isn't just one truck. Sreen is getting hundreds of these Metallum platforms, around 350 in total from various partners. The UK, Austria, Germany. So they're building their entire logistics backbone on this shared NATO standard. That means a reliable global support chain that the old Soviet equipment could never, ever match.
Looking ahead then, this modernized Grad fits right in with their other new artillery, like the Bogdana or the Zuzana II.
It shows a coherent strategy. Everything is moving towards mobile, protected, and digitally enabled artillery. And by choosing the RMMV platform, they're ensuring this capability will be viable for decades, especially as Rheinmetall brings out the next generation, the HX3.
Which is even more modular, I understand.
Exactly. They specifically designed the new HX3 with something called an artillery truck interface, or ATI. It's basically a standardized connection point designed to let the chassis carry almost any kind of heavy weapons system in the future. So Ukraine isn't just patching up old gear, they're building an adaptable military backbone that's compatible with Western tech for the long haul.
So the benefit isn't just on the battlefield today, it's about the next 20 years.
Absolutely. When you buy into a major European platform like this, you get comprehensive through-life support. That's engineering upgrades, access to Maine's global service network. It's the whole package. For a military that needs to maintain high readiness, that kind of dependable worldwide support is just critical.
So the shift from a guy with a hand crank on an old truck to a digital fire control system in an armored cab, it's a fundamental change in how you can deliver saturation fire. It's not just an upgrade, it's a doctrinal evolution. So here's the question for you to think about. How much closer does this digital edge, this survivability, bring the Ukrainian National Guard to achieving true fire superiority in this incredibly high-stakes war of maneuver? You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex and Aria, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry. And if you haven't already, please remember to click that button. Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We'll catch you next time.